Hello everyone, welcome to Moving to Night City, a Cyberpunk RED build show. This episode is part of bringing the Star Fox franchise into the TTRPG of the dark future. I spent a fair bit of time debating whether I should create the characters themselves, create exotic packages, or building each member of the team their own assisted combat power armor suits, which would be a replacement for their R-Wings. My beloved Patreon members opted for individual ACPAs, so that's what we built. Each ACPA was created during a Twitch livestream at the beginning of March. This video focuses on Slippy Toad, the lovable yet always in trouble member of the group. Slippy Toad is an anthropomorphic green toad that has been flying alongside Fox for several years. Slippy serves as the inventor and mechanic of the Star Fox team, and while he acts like a hyper doofus and his inferior piloting skill requires his need to be rescued frequently, he has excellent mechanical knowledge and has invented a wide variety of gadgets and vehicles. Slippy is the one who does maintenance on the Star Fox team's vehicles, in addition to creating inventions to help the team prevail on missions, making Slippy a major contribution to the team's success. Now that I know a bit about Slippy, including his defining features, which are he's a tech, he's not combat focused, and he has tech upgrades galore, it's time to build his ACPA. To do this, I'm following the instructions that start on page 136 of Interface Red Volume 5 in the Solo of Fortune 2045 a supplement article. Step 1 is choosing a linear frame. Since Slippy is often in danger, I'd love to give him a salvage frame, but given the wealth and backing of the Star Fox team, that doesn't really fit. Instead, thanks to a chat member, I opted for the external LF001 SWAT linear frame from Black Chrome. Created by Polska Cyber Technologies, this frame is highly flexible and claims to move as fast as the user. The frame increases the body to 12 and negates any penalties for climbing and swimming, which is why I chose it. At 5000 EB, its price is between the Sigma and the Beta frame, while the body stat is equal to the Sigma frame. For balance, since Slippy is always in need of rescue, I'm going to use the HP from the Sigma frame, but give the movement bonus from the Beta frame to make up that cost difference, especially given the fact that the frame negates penalties for climbing and swimming, as well as moving fast as a user. It seemed logical. Next, we're onto the shell. For Slippy, I'm going with the light Metal Gear shell. It gives decent stopping power, a touch more HP, and doesn't have any movement penalties. Now it's time to tune Slippy's ACPA, starting with acceleration. My options are to either lose hit points or dexterity. Now I don't want to have any negative stats for Slippy since he's already going to be less of a combatant as it is. Additionally, there's a chance I can gain those hit points back when tuning the ACPA's weight. For now, I'm taking option A and losing 7 hit points. Tuning the hydraulics gives me the choice of losing 1 stopping power or losing a point of movement. Now, Slippy doesn't have a lot of armor to begin with and has a good amount of movement, so I'm going to choose option B and lower his move by 1. Tuning his ACPA's maneuverability is a choice between losing more HP or gaining a negative to reflexes. Again, I don't want to give Slippy any stat negatives, and since he does always need help, I'm going to choose option A and lose another 7 hit points. Finally, we're on to tuning weight, where we can gain a point in move, or gain 7 hit points back. Since Slippy still has a positive to his movement, and I don't need him to be super fast, I'm going to go with option A to gain back some of the hit points I previously took away. Now that the ACPA core is complete, it's time to look at cyberware and weapons. I'm going to start with cyberware, the first being a means of communicating with his fellow teammates. Looking over various options, I settled for the Rockland Augmentics Neuron Internal Agent. This is an excellent quality internal agent that displays visual output to the user's field of vision, which is very reminiscent of the pop-ups that appear when you play the game. Next, since Slippy is a tech, I focused on cyberware that would make him beneficial to the team in surveillance and support. For the rest of his onboard cyberware, I installed into the ACPA were a scrambler descrambler to hamper enemy communications and secure the room, low light infrared and UV sight to help him see in any condition, and an integrated super scanner, a tech upgraded tech scanner from the Invented Tech Upgrades DLC. weapons were a bit more difficult to make Slippy as a viable combatant while being more of a support role. Given his invention and upgrade experience, all of Slippy's weapons have been tech upgraded to excellent quality if they weren't already. I also gave all members of the Starfrogs team a machine gun capable of auto-fire and suppressive fire, the Tektonika Russia BMG 500 Silver Edition. So that was his first weapon. Next, I wanted some whimsy but also versatility, so I took a look at the 12 Days of Cutie Mist DLC. The first weapon I chose was the Captain Cuttlefish Ultra Snag'em. This is a one-handed, exotic light melee weapon capable of making melee attacks from up to 5 squares away. When the weapon is used to make a held item aimed shot, a successful hit takes the weapon out of the opponent's hand and places it in the user's hand, meaning Slippy can remove enemy weapons even at a distance. Next, I added the Hello Cutie Fisher Kitty, an exotic heavy pistol that fires tungsten cable-linked mini harpoons. These harpoons can be electrified to deal damage directly to an opponent's HP. With the ACPA completely created, it's time to figure out how much this is going to cost. To do so, we begin with a base of 4,000 EB, add the cost of the linear frame, shell, and the cost of each onboard weapon and cyberware. The total for Slippy's ACPA at this point, for his components, including the cost for tech upgrades, totals 21,100. Then there's an additional 500 cost per onboard weapon and cyberware. We have 4 of the 6 slots in each the onboard cyberware and weapon section, which is going to cost an additional $4,000, for a total of 25,100 EB. The availability rating is equal to that of the most difficult to acquire component, which for Slippy's is either the Tektonika or his linear frame, both of which are luxury items. With that, I've created Slippy Toad's personal ACPA. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Let me know what you think of this transformation in the comments below and what changes you'd make. See you next time, Joombas!